Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Pimpri, for inviting me for to talk on this particular thing related to new education policy 2020. See, in today's discussion, I would like to ignite the mind of students, and I would like to ignite the minds of faculty members, which is required to be transformed for a new era. We all are working in 2020, and now 2021 is going to start. So it is a new era is going to start, a 21st century we are working. So in this particular 21st century, lots of transitions, transformations are going to happen, and we are in the transition phase. So who are the actual stakeholders of all this transition phase? As a students, we are the stakeholder. As a faculty members, we are the stakeholders, and the other stakeholders are like industries, different kind of NGOs, different kind of other institutions. So the role of education policy is very important for everyone. So this is particular my associations with lots of universities in India and abroad, and with lots of industries. So today I am going to discuss about the new education policies. What are the various parameters? So broadly I will let you know that what are the various broad parameters related to new education policy. Then I am going to discuss some of the things related to more focus of innovation and entrepreneurship, how this academic incubation process can be set up. And I'm also going to discuss some of the things related to Stanford University and Silicon Valley, that how they have started all these things 60, 70 years ago, and they have done all these things in Silicon Valley, Stanford University in California, and how they are progressing. Thousands of startups are graduating every year from a university campus. So this is not this kind of thing that which cannot happen. Lots of developed countries are doing this kind of things, and this new education policy was a need of the hour, and we have started this particular thing very recently. So let us understand the what is the logic and what is the mind behind this particular new education policy. So this National Education Policy 2020, so it is a vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So what is the vision? So vision is to contributing to an equitable and vibrant knowledge society. So who is going to create the vibrant knowledge society? We are going to create the vibrant knowledge society. So that is the main reason behind this particular national education policy of 2020. So in this national education policy, total there are 8 key principles. So let us understand what are all these key principles. So first key principle is respect for diversity and local context to be reflected in all curriculum, pedagogy and policy. See, we are having various levels of hierarchies in our country. We are having primary education system. We are having a school education system. In school education system, also we are having various categories like preschool education system, primary education system, higher secondary education system. Then after 12th, students comes to the their higher education in the form of colleges. Then super senior higher education system like postgraduate degrees, master's degrees, and after that PhD degrees, postdoctoral degrees are there. So in all aspect, whatever with the curriculum, pedagogy, policies we are developing, so this is the first key principle which is given by this particular policy, that respect for diversity and local context. So India is a union of territories, union of particular union of states we are having. If you will go through the constitution of our country, it is written that it is a union of states. So union of states means what? A combination of all states. All states are coming together with various kind of diverse food, diverse society, diverse caste, creed, and the various length and breadth, right from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, we are seeing that a lots of local community, local diversities are there. So we should provide all the respect to all the diversity, local context to be reflected in all curriculum. Whenever any delivery is happening, it should not be focused or sector agnostic based. So we should be freely diversified all these things, and we should promulgate all these activities respecting all the local and diversity in the society. The second point is equity and inclusion, a very important concept, equity and inclusion, to become the cornerstone of all the educational decisions. Whatever be the decisions happening right now, so there should be equity and inclusion in that. So we should provide all the equity and all the inclusion related thing. It should be holistic in nature. It should not be only focused on any specific things. There should be holistic growth in the students. There should be holistic growth in the faculty members. There should be holistic growth in all the stakeholders. The third key point is community participation, uplifting philanthropic private community participation. See, the role of any educational institution is not in the form of teaching and learning. The role of educational systems are very philanthropic in nature. There should be a community participation. It should not be only restricted to the classrooms. And now you all are witnessing that there is a lots of transformations happening. So we should focus on community participations, means we can collaborate with the other outside stakeholders, so that the holistic development of any stakeholder in the form of students, faculty members, or other stakeholders should be there. Next key point is use of technology in teaching and learning and removing language barriers. See, many a times what is happening, that lots of students are coming from vernacular medium, lots of students are coming from rural background, lots of students are coming from a state board, lots of students are coming from different kind of boards are there, like ICSE, CBSE. So our educational policy is saying that there should be a use of technology in teaching and learning, and removing a language barrier. So whatever the language barriers, if any students are facing, so we should promulgate this particular culture in the academic education system, that language should not be a barrier for any students for teaching and learning kind of things. So from where this particular things comes, so if you will go to Germany, or if you will go to China or Japan, so they are very much conversant about their languages. They are rigid. They are doing all this teaching learning in their own languages. They are not adopting the UK or US pattern kind of things. Lots of the all the educational things happen in Germany in their own language. See, English is a language, it's a business language, but it doesn't matter that if you are not knowing English, and if you are not comfortable in English, you should not you are not able to learn that particular thing. So language should not be a barrier. That is again the next key point given by the national education policy. Coming to next education specific key point is emphasize the conceptual understanding learning for exams with no rote learning. In our earlier education system, we were witnessed this particular thing, that the most of the things was related to the rote learning kind of thing. So if you will see the question pattern of earlier days, so you will see that mostly these 3 4 5 words are there. What is so and so thing? Explain in your words. Why this particular things happens? Explain in your own words. So this type of things were there. What, why, and how things were. These are the specific keywords mostly written in the question papers, whether it is in the form of school education or whether it is in the form of higher educations. What is this? What is this? Why this is? So in all this aspect, there is a requirement of rote learning. Just draw a diagram, writing the things, explaining the things, just promulgate the things in the paper. Faculty spend some time, 2 minutes time, they just assign some particular marks to that, and that's it. So new education policy is guiding that there should not be a rote learning, there should be a project based learning, there should be a case based learning, so that this new concept of innovation can be seeded in the education system. The next key principle is unique capabilities, recognizing, tapping them in each student. See, very important aspect. This sixth number key principle is very important. Let me discuss with all the listeners related to this particular point. As a human being, we are customizing our food, we are customizing our dresses when we visit to any malls or any galleries. So we are customizing our dresses. What we feel good, we are taking, we are wearing that kind of dresses. When we visit any kind of restaurants, we are customizing even our food, that this particular food I will have. But why we are not customizing our education? Every student, every individual is having a unique capabilities. So why our education system is so much rigid that they are providing a common things in common platform? That in, let's, if we can take the example of engineering education. So in earlier days, it was the common norms that first year engineering common to everyone. Every students will go through this particular subjects, whether he is good or bad or whatever with the things are applicable, doesn't matter. So you will have to pass this particular subject. So when students enter into second year, and if you will ask them that what were all those subjects in your first year, so they are not aware about all the names. So this is not only the case of engineering, this is happening in all the courses, in all the parts. So unique capabilities, recognizing, tapping them in each student means what? I'm not against this particular thing, but I'm just trying to highlight the specific things, that why there is a customization of things are required. See, many a time students wants to do music, many a times students wants to go for dancing. Let's say if we are doing pharmacy, so B Pharma students can opt for some other thing also. They, if he or she is interested to do some course related to art, science, music or anything, why he or she is deprived from that? So major degree and minor degree concepts are getting introduced through this particular education policy. So that is the main specific point of sixth number point. That is the key principle, a unique capabilities, recognizing and tapping them in each student. So as an educational facilitator, as an educational faculty members, we should identify the particular capabilities among students, that what kind of things can happen. The next key principle is critical thinking and creativity to boost the logical decision making and innovation. So here the points of innovation comes. See, every student, those who are in the age of this new particular development stage, so they are having a critical thinking capability. Mostly those who are in the higher range of age, they are having a dead brains. So if you will see the human evolving psychology, so when a child starts, when birth of any child starts, so mind is in the process of evolving. And when that particular mind reaches up to 35, 40, 50, so your capability related to critical thinking, creativity, logical decisions, this is getting reduced. Then people are taking decisions related to their experiences. They are not doing critical thinking, they are not doing the creativity thinking. But who can do critical thinking, creativity thinking, innovation thinking? So fresh minds can do all these things. So our students can do all these things. So during the facilitation of any courses, during any project based learning, we should promulgate, we should do all these kind of activities in the classroom, in the labs, that how a new generation can start think critically, think innovatively. So that is again the key principle. The next key principle is continuous review, build on sustained research and regular assessment by educational experts. So whatever be the things are happening, there should be a continuous review of the things should be there, and there should be a regular assessment by educational experts should be there. So these all are the key principles related to education policy. So I'm going to just play a short video related to this particular discussion, and then I will move ahead in our particular session. So just give me 1 minute. Once said, please let me understand whether this volume is audible to all of you or not. Everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability, is it audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. To climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is schooling. You could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but
Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they are stupid, believing they are useless? Well, the time has come, no more excuses. I call school.
So he's basically talking about the education system. I think many of you have listened this particular video, but there is a very logical connect with this particular video and the education policy. So let's go ahead in this.
To the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes my opening statement, and if I may present the evidence of my case, I will prove it. Proceed. Exhibit A. Here's a modern-day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today, and here's a car from 150 years ago.
So here you can see, all the participants can see that how the transformations have happened. If you will see the 10 to 15 years ago of cellular phones, even in every 2 to 3 years, there is a change in the incremental change in the cell phones, cellular phones. We are changing the cars. You can see the changes in the design of the cars. So in this way, this particular guy is talking about.
Difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today, and here's a class we used 150 years ago.
So you can see the classroom today and classroom 150 years ago. We have not changed the way of the classroom. So we are customizing our education. We are customizing our food. We are customizing our clothes. Why we are not customizing our education?
Now ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
Watch your language.
Sorry, Your Honor, but if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results will be tragic. So many people would get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens, this educational malpractice, where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific.
This particular point I only spoke about. Every students are having different kind of dreams. Every students are having different kind of capabilities. Every students cannot become entrepreneur. Every students cannot do innovation. Every students cannot become IS. Every student cannot become doctor. Every student cannot become engineer. But we are teaching mostly the same thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed. And let's mention the way you treat your employees.
Objection. Overruled. I want to hear this.
It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid. No wonder so many students are short-changed. Let's be honest. Teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid. But a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. Just obsessed with standardized tests. They think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success. That's outlandish. In fact, these tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned, but don't take my word for it. Take Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, who said, these tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade it, change it, do away with school spirit, because that's useless. Unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student, that should be our task. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days. Teachers make a decent wage. Homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Other places like Singapore are succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving. Because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams. And there's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe. A world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I'll rest my case.
So this was just a brief, short, particular video related to all my discussion. So I am just moving ahead in the particular thing which we have stopped from here. So in our national education policy, the highlights, there are 15 highlights. What are all these highlights? We are going to discuss that. Then I will come to the focus related to innovation and entrepreneurship and how this particular system can be built. And even I will also present one case study for all the listeners. So these are the 15 highlights. I will just quickly go through all these 15 highlights. So first is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system has been introduced. Schooling from 3 years, from preschool, the things can be started from 3 years. There is a provision of promoting a libraries in the educational system. Teaching up to class 5th in the mother tongue or regional language is acceptable now. Students can go through, they can learn the things in their mother tongue or regional languages. Creating the bal bhavans in the educational institutions. Academic bank of credits, it's a new concept, that there should be a academic bank of credit should be there. Multiple entry and multiple exit points in higher education has been introduced, that if anyone is doing any kind of course, so he can work for, he can go for 2 years, then they can do some kind of internship, some kind of jobs for 2 to 3 years. They can again come back and they can finish their degrees. So see, it is not a bar kind of thing that you have to do this particular thing in this particular year only. So there should not be rigidity. See, education is a continuous process. It is not a, it is a lifelong learning kind of activities. It is a process. It is, education is not for just for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. See, anyone who wants to do their degree in the age of 80, what is the problem? At the age of 80, he can also go to college. What is the problem in that? So we should not focus about these things of rigidity. So our new education policy is a transformational change in our country, because in earlier days this was the issue, easing of board exam. So normally this board exam was creating a hefty pressure on the young generation. Board exam, board exam, board exam. So this kind of particular things have been reduced now, and all educational systems functions are working on this particular things. Changes in the report card, foreign universities in India. So lots of foreign universities are going to set up their academic institutions in India through collaborations, through inter-collaboration, through credit transfers. So this type of things are going to be started soon. NEP in science, commerce and arts stream, I have already talked about this, that if anyone who is from engineering background or science background, he wants to understand the arts, he wants to just understand the history or geography, so why he cannot go, why he or she cannot go for that? So this kind of things have been introduced in national education policy. The next point is national education technology forum is going to be introduced. Common entrance exam for college admissions. Affiliation of colleges will be phased out in 15 years, and a stage wise mechanism will be established for granting a graded autonomy to the colleges. This is a very significant and revolutionary step. Let me tell you, all the academic institutions which are affiliated from the state universities in this particular country, so lots and lots of bureaucracy has involved in this particular things. Only 15, 20 or 30 people in the state universities are trying to govern all the educational things from the state universities. So our new education policy has introduced, has understand this particular things at the senior level, and they are trying to phase out this particular affiliation system. They want to abolish this particular process of affiliation system, and they want to provide the graded autonomy to the colleges. In that way, you can think, design your own courses. You can go for designing the different pedagogy, teaching, learning aspects, alignment with the national level, alignment with the international level, so that the things can be given to the young generation. So this 13 number point is a very significant step, but it will take some time to establish. By 2030, the minimum degree qualification for teaching will be a 4-year integrated B.Ed degree. Now coming to the point that what is the entrepreneurial revolution? So basically there are 3 to 4 keywords, as I think that most of the listeners are from student side. So I will just give you a brief idea about all these keywords like innovation, incubation, entrepreneurship, invention, discovery. What are all these things? So let us first understand the invention and discovery. What is the meaning of invention and discovery? How these particular two keywords are different? See, the moment I am saying that discovery, so the meaning of discovery is, if we are discovering something, if we are identifying something which is already given by the law of universe, like Newton's law, like Bernoulli's principle. These are the laws already existing in this particular world. We have not invented all these laws. Newton have not invented that particular law. He has just discovered. So discovery means identifying something which is already existing in the universe. When we are talking about invention, so invention means if we are doing something new. So if we are doing something new means what? The first invention which got patented in India is a pankha pulling machine in 18th century. So 18th century pankha pulling machine was the invention, a new thing which is not existing and which is coming. So that is invention. If we are saying umbrella, if we are saying a stapler machine, if we are saying paper clip, so all these things are invention. Then what is innovation? Innovation is an incremental addition of some new concept, some new modifications in the invention. So if we are adding some inventive steps in any existing invention, that is innovation. If we are talking about innovation, it doesn't mean that every time you have to invent a new thing in this world. If we are adding some new value, if we are adding some new component in the existing invention, that is innovation. So you can take the example of umbrella. Many a times, lots of must have listened my session. I'm just showing some kind of videos that one student was there in the Vidisha, and he just added something in the umbrella so that his umbrella becomes solar powered umbrella. So umbrella is already an invention, and if we are adding some modifications in the umbrella so that it becomes solar powered, and through that you can light up your charger, you can light up some kind of lightning things, you can play music through umbrella. So that is innovation. So our new education policy is saying that there should be a innovation component in our teaching learning process. There should be a critical thinking. So what is the core reason behind all these things? See, our country is struggling for product development process. Until or unless this country is not going for product development things, if we are not going for exporting the things, our country is not going to shoot up for all the economical activities. So more and more number of innovation will happen in this particular country, in our country. So more and more number of products will get developed. More and more number of intellectual properties, IPR will get built. In that way, more and more number of startups will come into the picture. So that is the logic behind this particular innovation based curriculum. So innovation, incubation and entrepreneurship, these are the three keywords. First is innovation. Innovation means we are adding some incremental value to the existing inventions. If yes, so it is going to be converted in the form of product. If it is going to be converted in the form of product, then definitely there is a requirement of some startups, some manufacturing hubs, some kind of companies. They can take this particular product and they can launch it into the market. So lots of processes are there in this. Developing innovation, developing intellectual properties, then developing a process of technology transfer, licensing, mergers, acquisitions. So the logic behind this particular more focus on innovation and entrepreneurial aspect for the national education policy is that so that it can aspires a young generation for imaginative, innovative, ingenious, and proactive pioneering and prospect oriented thinking. Preparing a roadmap for entrepreneurship. More and more number of people should be there who can do this kind of entrepreneurship. And please, all of you, mark my point. Entrepreneurship doesn't means that only engineer will do this particular activity or only pharmaceutical people will do this particular activity. For doing any entrepreneurship activity or innovation in an invention activity, degree is not required. Where it is written that only engineering students can do innovation and invention, only pharmacy students or any other students or any faculty member will do. It's an open word. Anyone can do anything. So that is not required, my dear all listeners. But as a academic institutions, we are the important part of this society, and we should promulgate this culture within our system, outside system. That is our responsibility as an academic institutions, as a part of this society. We should collaborate with all this ecosystem. We should do all this hand holding. So as a learner community of this particular society, as our role is to develop this particular environment in this particular society. So our this new education policy is will help to create the jobs, entrepreneurs. So if you will see, everyone is saying that in India we are having a very good demographic dividend. We are having a 66% of younger generation below 35 years of age. So if this particular human dividend, human resource is going to develop in the form of this knowledge-based people, skill-based people, then we can beat any country in this world. So let me put some figure to all of you. If you will see the figure of United States of America, if you will see the figures of China, every year they are doing more than 5 lakhs to 7 lakhs of intellectual property filings in the forms of patents or other intellectual properties. So what does it mean? More and more number of intellectual properties, it means that more and more number of products will be there and more number of companies will be there. And in our country, we are doing the filing up to 40,000, 50,000. Why? So that is the lagging part, but that is not a reason. So now these things have started. So this policy level transformations were required in this particular country, and this is happening now. Our national IPR policy got introduced in 2016, just 4 years back. Earlier to that, we don't have any national education, national IPR policy was there in this particular country. But now government has taken these significant steps and lots of transformation steps are happening in our country for all these stakeholders. They are creating policies, transformational changes are happening. So it's a clap to our government that they have identified this almost 1/5 of the global workforce. So all the workforce related to engineers, doctors, skilled people, low skilled people, high skilled people, low order thinking, higher order thinking, these all things are going to develop. So we should not categorize any job. No, this is engineer, this is pharmacist, this is doctor. No, every job is important. Every job is required to be created and contributed for this society. So when we are saying about the entrepreneurship, it doesn't mean that every time you have to create a company or firm. There is a concept of entrepreneur also. The organization in which we all are working, in that particular organization, you can create this entrepreneurship. You can create some model. You can develop some new model in that particular organization. So which, if that model is going to bring out some change in that particular organization, that is also entrepreneurship journey. So this national education policy is discussing about all these things, are giving importance to the vocational training. Significance of vocational jobs will also increase. Whatever be the project based learning we are doing in our education system, we should focus on all these activities, so that more and more number of these intellectual properties, entrepreneurship kind of activities can be created. So let me give you one analogy to all of you. Then I will come for discussion of these 8 essentials of innovation. As a student, if you will count, let's say I'm talking to the pharmacy students. So if you will count the human hours with all these pharmacy students, all these human hours during these 4 years of journey. So B Pharma is 3 years or for 5 years? Anyone please let me know. B Pharma is for 3 years or 5 years? 4 years. Okay, fine. So if you will just count it, that right from first year to final year, students are investing how much of human man hours in doing some kind of seminars, workshops, presentations, project reports. How many human hours are getting invested in all this particular activity? A simple calculation if you will put. So if I am not wrong, minimum 100 hours in 4 years we are putting. That is very less amount of hours I am giving for the calculation. I know that more than 100 hours we are investing in our 4 years of span of time related to project, seminar, thesis, other kind of activities apart from the classroom teaching. So if you will calculate that, if from any university, if 5,000 students are graduating every year related to any kind of course, so 100 hours from one manpower, if you are multiplied with the 5,000, so 5,000 multiplied by 100 hours. So at the end of that particular course, what we are doing with the thesis, report, seminar report, and all these kind of things, after 3 years, it is dumped in the library or it is sold out. So that is the truth. So why we cannot change this pedagogy? Why we cannot change this particular thing? Lots of students are also copying the things. Faculties are also saying the things, just diverting the thing. So why we all together, why we cannot join hands? This change cannot happen in one day. It will take several years. So introducing a national education policy was a job of government, but now it is a job of all the stakeholders to bring out this change in the education system. So who will bring this change? The governance structure, the higher people, the middle management, the actual stakeholders, the students, the faculties. Why we cannot all sit together, collaborate together? Why we cannot introduce this project-based learning? Why we cannot go for all this kind of activities, so that this human manpowers will not get wasted, but it will be treated as a invested. We can convert that particular idea in some form of intellectual property. We can convert that particular idea in the form of product. So that is the concept behind this focus of innovation and entrepreneurship for national education policy. So as a key stakeholder of this particular institution, part of this society, we should focus on all these things. So these are the essentials of any innovation. First is aspire. You will have to think. See, again, I am repeating, everyone cannot do, but those who can do, can we provide that kind of ecosystem to them? So first thing is aspire, then you have to choose, then you have to discover, then you have to evolve, then accelerate, scale, extend, and mobilize. So these are the 8 essentials. What we want to do, why we want to do this particular thing, how we can do this kind of activities, what are the specific things which can be chosen, what are the various things which we can go for discovering, what are the various business market needs, what are the technology insights, what is the need of the society, how the evolution of all these things can take in place, how we can accelerate that particular idea, how we can accelerate that particular project. Some projects completed up to third year can be handed over to final year. Up to when final year students are developing something, that can be given to their previous year students, so that the things can get developed. I am going to present this kind of case study that this is happening in Stanford University. So this is the things which is required. So these are the innovation phases for any idea. So this is the stepping up the innovation ladder. First one is idea. Ideation is very important. That's why this design thinking, creative thinking, concepts and various things are required. Then developing a proof of concept kind of thing, prototyping kind of thing, validation, pilot study, scaling, marketing, launching it into the market. So these are the various things. The innovation and startup development phases are there. So idea creation is the first thing. Then idea validation are required. Then product creation is required. Business model creations are required. Business validation is required. Then the various things related to development of the business is like founder team formation, team commitment validation, initiating the organization formation, company formation. So this kind of culture is expected now in academic institutions, so that more and more number of innovations, incubation and entrepreneurship activity can be generated. So these are the various key services and support system at higher educational institutions through national education policy can be introduced. So the startup innovation cell, pre-incubator activities, incubator activities, research-based activities. So this should not only be on paper. This should be a regular activity. This should be a synchronizing activity. These all things should be a part of our day-to-day routine related to all whatever with our regular activities we are doing. So that is the more focus of national education policies. So this is just a highlight of innovation management, like pull based processes we can introduce, push based processes we can introduce, agile processes we can introduce. So I am going to discuss now some of the case studies. So just wait, I'm going to wait for just 2 to 5 minutes over here, and I will ask the moderator if any questions they have received or any few queries they can discuss. We can go for discussion, and then I will proceed for the completion of our next part. Yes, over to moderator.
So there are no questions in chat box. So but if from participant, if anyone have questions, they can ask you.
Yes, so if any participant is having any kind of queries or any kind of discussion points, you can unmute yourself. We can have just 2 to 5 minutes of discussion. Then I will proceed for next of the phase. And then next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to complete this session. Sorry. So I think we should go for completion then.
So
And
from our side,
yeah.
how the students can benefit with the startup and all the activities, and how their conventional thinking of doing the job can be changed with these activities.
See, a very nice question the particular student have asked. In our normal traditional system, when we are in our childhood, am I audible? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, you are right.
Okay. In our,
Yes, sir.
fine. So in our normal education system, in our normal traditional pattern, when we are in the stage of child education, college education, what is happening in our family? Mostly in 90% cases, our parents, our teachers ask one question: बड़े होकर के क्या बनोगे? In our school days also and in our college days also. ओके, इंजीनियरिंग कर लिया, क्या करोगे? ओके, बी फार्मा कर लिया, आगे क्या करोगे? ओके, एमबीए कर लिया, आगे क्या करोगे? जॉब के बारे में कुछ सोचा है क्या? So these are the normal traditional questions which is happening even इफ आई विल से कि बच्चे अगर यदि गर्मी छुट्टियों में अपने गांव जाते हैं, कहीं पे घूमने जाते हैं, नाना नानी से मिलने जाते हैं, so this kind of common things are happening in our traditional way of doing the things, that कि अच्छा ठीक है स्कूल कर लिया, आगे क्या सोचा है, साइंस लेकर के क्या करोगे. So we never discuss about this particular thing, that अच्छा अपना कुछ करने का सोचा है क्या, अच्छा अपना कुछ कर रहे हो क्या, या फिर अपना कुछ प्लानिंग किया है क्या, कुछ अपना स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं क्या. So this is the first thing which I would like to introduce to the audience, that there is a requirement of transitional changes. This cannot happen in 1 day or 2 day. And I've already given you a point that everyone cannot go for job, everyone cannot go for entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship doesn't mean every time that you are going to create a company and you are going to create a product. Entrepreneurship is a journey, a, a developing a new model, a developing a new activity. So DPU Incubation Center activity is the best example. We started this particular activity around 1.5 years ago. So approximately more than 22 institutions established startups innovation cells. They collaborated with the DPU Incubation Center. Again, this is an entrepreneurship kind of activity. Lots of students, faculties members are connected to this, and regularly we are doing some kind of activity. We are doing, so again, this is an entrepreneurship. So the answer of this particular question is, it is a traditional mindset. We have to change this particular mindset. We cannot change it 1 day or 2 day time. If you are going for some kind of job, that is also fine. Nothing wrong in that. But can we add value in that? Can we add, are we going to add some innovative component in our job? That is the first thing. Parallel to job, if you are having some kind of expertise, consulting activities, please follow that. If you are having consulting expertise of music, do it. If you are having consulting expertise of writing, blog writing, do it. That is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship doesn't mean every time कि अरे यार एक private limited company खोलनी है, एक LLP company खोलना है, and under that company we are going to do so many things. No, a freelancing kind of activities can also be done. There are lots of changes in the company established norms. One single person can also establish a company. You can do it on the form of proprietorship. So I think I have given some clear idea about this particular question. Yes, any other point?
Any questions from participants?
Okay, so I think I should go ahead in this discussion, and I will request all the participants, if you are having any kind of question, please keep it in your mind. You can type it in the chat box, or we can take it in the last page of our session. So we are talking about this particular thing, the national education policy, more focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. So what is the idea behind all these things, that every time you have to create this kind of culture in the academic institution, so that good ideas should become value of potential opportunity, which is a combination of number of target customers, frequency of solution used, willingness to pay the current solution, level of satisfaction. So this is just a formal process. So if you will go through the startup curve, so this is just a basic startup curve, that before a startup there is an initial ideation phases, initial enthusiasms are there, then it goes into the throw of sorrow, we are facing lots of problems, फिर उसके बाद we are saying कि नहीं यार नहीं जमेगा, कुछ और करते हैं. So don't fear, don't hope for security. Let me tell you a couple of the things. Those who are in this particular mindset that there is a requirement of secure job, please mark my word today, all the listeners, all this particular philosophy of secure job is going to abolish. Everything is going to be shifted in the form of contract, skill based contract, 2 years contract, 3 years contract, 5 years contract, not more than that. If you are having a specific skill set, you are going to hire for that particular skill set. People are just going to see your degree, just as an entering point, nothing more than that. So if you are developing some kind of specific skills related to different aspects, today I'm giving a generic talk, but we can also discuss discuss this particular field wise. But you have to sustain with your skills. If you are not developing any skills, this particular system is going to abolish you. So everything is going to be changed in the form of contract. 1 year contract, 2 year contract, 3 years contract, 5 years contract, and after that you will have to change your job or your particular aspect. So there is a concept which is known as hip skills. What is the concept of hip skills? The concept of hip skill is that at the same time, any particular person should have three skills in their pocket. So what are all those three skills? Any three skills you can build up, through which you can make your earning. Let's say you can take this example, one particular IT guy is there, in daytime he is doing some kind of activity related to IT. In the evening time he is driving a Uber. What a problem? He is earning. Now he want to work as an independent consultant, he will work for 5 to 6 hours for some consulting activity, next 6 hours he will drive auto. What is the problem? If he is having some carpentry skill, he will get himself registered on some app. I think one app is there. In that particular app, what is that app? I just forgot the name of that app. So in that app, you can call up the electricians, mechanic kind of activities. So what is the problem in that? Where it is written that if you are having a doctorate degree, you cannot drive a auto. Where it is written that if we are having a postdoctoral degree, we cannot drive Uber car. We can do. It's a skill. It's a driving skill. It's a carpentry skill. It's a writing skill. So at the same moment, at the same span of time, you can do multiple activities. So it is going to be work in that way. This transformational changes are required. So we have to introduce this skill-based thinking, creative problem-solving capability, design thinking capacity among students, among faculty members. So now I'm going to present a very short case study, which I have witnessed this particular case study during my US visit. I have spent a good amount of time in Stanford University with their professors, with their startups to understand this particular ecosystem. So some around 70, 80 years ago, California was a small farmland was there, nothing more developed things were there. So that was the case of the California. So this is a particular geographical picture of the California. So these are the various states in that particular location. Palo Alto is there, Mountain View is there, Sunnyvale. These are the specific states are there. But if you will see the development related to all these states, so annual average for highest patent producing metro areas. So you can see the figure that the stakeholders are contributing in this way. So this is a good example of innovation based economy. So in this way, the per capita income is getting generated. So other Silicon Valley facts are there. So this is just a small figures related to all these things. Coming to the specific point that how they have developed this particular thing. Actually, this is a very comprehensive case study. I have just taken some part from my case study. I will again request to the organizer that I will come some another day and I will present this complete case study that how California and Silicon Valley and Stanford University came together and they have developed this particular things in their ecosystem in last 60, 70 years ago. So for any innovation based economy, there is a requirement of people, ideas and capital. So from where the people will come like knowledge workers, entrepreneurs, investors, infrastructures, experts, other workers willing to test this. From where the ideas will come from R&D activities, creativity, new applications. From where the capital will come, R&D funding, invest. So there is a requirement of collaboration. There is a requirement of joint hand holding. So these are the sources. People will come from universities, existing companies, startup exits, immigrants. Sources like people of different backgrounds, networking, young people, need-based thinking should be there. And all these things should collaborate so that this innovation based economy should get started. So if you will see the current statistics of Stanford University, so nearly 2118 faculties are there, 7,000 undergraduate students are there, 9100 graduate students are there in 7 schools. So they are doing cross fertilization. Engineering is doing lots of activities with the humanities and sciences. They are doing activities with the law, medicine. So all these disciplines are doing lots of cross fertilization, and they are doing this kind of activity. And that's why this innovation based economies are taking place. So 32 Stanford faculty have won the Nobel Prizes, and 17 are there in the currently working at Stanford University. In this kind of universities, for professors, they can start their companies during their job phases only. They can start their own startups. So this kind of things can be done in the university campus. And even our national this particular startup and innovation policy have also introduced these things, but lots of governance level structural changes are required, which is happening. So this is a model, a very good model to understand the education policy, that as a student, as a faculty members, as a facilitator, we can do basic research. We can identify the problem statements. We can do the proof of concept kind of thing. So you can see that idea A, idea B, idea C, idea D are there. They can collaborate with the applied research. Then they can enter into the development phases, buying, taking up the licenses, and that will enter into the target market. So it is a process of approximately 7 to 8 years or 10 years of a span of time. One small idea will take around 10 years of time to launch into the market. So are we creating this kind of ecosystem? So national education policy is saying that through our all these particular activities, we should focus on this particular thing, so that spin out of companies should be there, licensing should be there, mergers, acquisition should be there. So there are four pillars of the national education policy. First is school education, higher education, other key areas of focus, and make it happen. Whatever be the things we are doing, make it happen. So I'm just going to discuss the very specific points, which is about the national education policy. So they are saying that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM should be focused for critical thinking and higher order thinking capacities, so that all the higher educational institutions can focus on innovation and setting up the startup and incubation centers. So right now in our India, only 220 incubation centers are functioning, and as per the government 5 years plan, there is a requirement of 1,000 incubation centers in this country, and even more than that, so that more and more number of startups, ideas, product developments are going to happen. So all the regulatory efforts related to all these things should come, and more number of innovation, which will inspire the creativity, analysis, technology, and development kind of work. It's my appeal to all the faculty members that a role of teacher is going to change. You are going to act as a facilitator now. You are not going to always work as a teacher now. The role of facilitator is to facilitate the things. Let me tell all of you that whatever be the subjects we all are teaching, we are doing a teaching learning kind of activities by die hard. We are trying so hard to teach things to the students, but world best lectures are available on internet. World best lectures are available on YouTube. It's a greatest community. People are going to opting for that. Lots of the various online platforms are there. They are providing degrees. They are providing certifications. So these things are happening. A credit based systems have been introduced in the education system. SWAM platform is there. So lots of this kind of systems have been introduced in our education system. So what is the role of teacher now? So the role of teacher is to introduce some transformations, to introduce some new concepts, some new innovation kind of activities, So that we will have to identifying some hip skills kind of things related to different activities, related to research based, related to total 17 and 18 miniatures are there in the academic field, which faculties can do. You will have to identify some different miniatures which you can parallelly do with your teaching and learning kind of activities. So that you will have to identify. So that is the specific saying of national education policy. So they are going to phase out this affiliation system. They are going to phase out this particular state university affiliation system. It is going to be a graded autonomy. So those faculties who are in the young age, they are in the age of 30, 32, 35, they will have to think it differently. Those faculties who are in the age of 45, 50, 55, for them the role is different. So everyone, the role is going to be different. We will have to identify all these roles. So this was all about this particular thing. Now the forum is open for the discussion. From my side, I have given all the clarifications and I have tried my best to explain about the focus related to the innovation, incubation and entrepreneurship related to national education policy. And I hope that every one will contribute in this particular journey. Yes, over to moderator.
Thank you, sir. It was really wonderful session. We learned a lot about innovation, startup, entrepreneurship. I hope the students also get clear with their concepts about uh, the startup and innovation. We definitely need your support to build more into this area. Is there any questions from participants?
Yes, I'm expecting some kind of discussions from any faculty side, any student side, and I would love to interact. I will request to unmute yourself. You can open up your video. We all are working on e mode. It doesn't mean that we cannot interact. So this forum is open. It is a kind of physical interaction only. So please, any students, I would love to interact with any young student and any faculty. I think every day we are going through lots of Zoom sessions, so we are now conversant and happy to go with this. That let's go ahead in this way. That
Yes,
keep yourself unmuted, muted, and don't open up video.
yes, sir. So we have questions from our side. Uh,
Right.
at which stage we should protect our idea during the journey of startup?
See, it totally depends upon the stage of the idea, that at what particular stage this idea is there. So many a times what happens, that idea is in just in mind, but it is not on the paper. It is not in the form of prototypes. It is not in the form of product. So every time the case is completely different. We cannot say a generic rule for this particular thing. We will have to identify, we will have to discuss this particular things, but lots of provisions are there. If we are having some kind of idea, we can go for provisional protection. If we are having some kind of literary idea, we can go for copyright protection. If we are having some prototype, we can, and we want to launch some startup or some company, so we should have some kind of discussion that that particular idea is going on on the name of that particular company or the individual. So the case, always the case is different.
Sir, in case of provisional protection, as you mentioned, is there any specific time period, like within that much time we have to come up with the prototype or the complete
Yes.
product?
So this is the case related to provisional patent. If you are having any specific idea in your mind, and if you have not developed any product or any kind of results out of that, in that case we can go for provisional filing. And in that case, government gives you 1 year of a, sorry, 1 year of a span of time, and within that 1 year of a span of time we have to complete all these things.
Okay, so within 1 year we have to be ready with the final product, or a prototype is
No,
also
final
like
product, final
fine.
product,
Okay,
because we are going to draft the complete application. We are going to write the claims out of that. So for writing
okay,
the claims, there is a requirement of final product and final results. If we need
okay,
a grant out of that. If we are just going for the publication of patent, in that case it is okay. But mostly in academic institutions, people are concerned about the publication. They are not concerned about the grant. So in academic system, what is happening? Mostly 90% things are rotating, revolving around NAC, NIRF, NBA, this kind of accreditation bodies. So we are not moving out of this accreditation kind of things. Accreditation is one of the aspect, that is the one pillar of the academic things. But we should move out of this particular activities. We should go for some real creation of the things.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other discussion points?
So many times we observe that students and the inventors, they not share their ideas just because they feel that their ideas somebody will steal. So
Cultural change, cultural mindset, narrow mindset. No one is going to take idea and no one is going to steal your idea. It happens mostly in a very different kind of scenario, that we are developing some kind of nuclear weapon or some kind of activities which is going to create a crores and different kind of revenue generation. So this is just a mindset, nothing else. We should go for some open-minded things. And but there is a provision that we can go for document creation, non-disclosure agreement can be signed. Lots of things are there in place. We can develop this kind of strategies in the academic institutions, and even we are working on that also. Even I have shared lots of formats with all the institutions, and in all those formats we can do all this kind of activities. But there is not very specific reason for this. This is just a mindset.
Dr. Avinash, good
Yes,
afternoon.
ma'am. Good
Dr.
afternoon, madam.
Avinash,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for your excellent session on the education policy and how it is being tuned towards promoting entrepreneurship among the students.
Thank you, madam.
Actually, there are many students on board. So in the larger interest of the students, if you could highlight how DPU is actually working towards promotion of these entrepreneurship thinking and creativity among these students, and how it is providing an excellent platform, because many of our students are still not too aware of what is the Incubation and Innovation Center at DPU doing.
Right. So, madam, in all the academic institutions, these pre-incubation cells are working now. In all the academic institutions at the respective institute level, these startup and innovation cells are working now. So the role of this startup innovation cell is to create a culture of this kind of activities, doing lots of sessions, doing lots of workshops, doing lots of activities at the institute level. So every now and then we are releasing some kind of application. So around 3 to 4 months ago, we have released a first application related to startup applications, and lots of students have applied in that. So the role of DPU Incubation Center is to identify those students, startups, or those ideation which can be converted in the form of company. So we are having a rigorous process for that. If any students are applying in that particular activity, we are scrutinizing their ideas. We are doing all the hand holdings. We are providing all the supports related to mentor support. We are trying to connect them with the investors. We are trying to connect them with the government agencies for funding. A very good example I will just share with all of you. There was one student from physiotherapy college in DPU group. And the name of that student was Nigel Gonzalez. So he was having some clinical setup, a unique idea was there related to unique idea setup related to physiotherapy clinical setup. Something different was there. So he was under this particular journey, and we connected them. We molded that particular idea. We did all the hand holding, and now he is receiving a fund of 12,000 per month for 9 months from government of India for developing his particular idea. So that is the way. Right now we are having 16 startups ideation startups from different colleges, 3 or 4 from engineering college, 2 from B schools, 1 from Ayurveda, 1 from different institutions. So total 16 ideation stage startups are there. We are providing mentoring, we are providing product development support, we are connecting them to different investors. So yesterday only we have started one association with the cohort of AIC Atal Incubation Center. In that, it is a possibility that if any idea is having potential, they can reach up to a 50 lakhs of fund. 50 lakhs of funds can be generated from government agencies if you are having that kind of potential. So in that way, we are trying to support, we are trying to do all this hand holding. So the role of a startup and innovation cell in the academic institutions is to create a culture. The role of DPU Incubation Center is to take that particular thing and launch that particular thing in the market, develop all this ecosystem.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions from participants? I think there are no questions, sir. Okay. So thank you.
ऐसा दो ही केसेस में होता है रविंद्र सर, या तो सब समझ में आ गया या कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया.
Yes. That is the last sentence we generally say when there is no questions. Yes. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time and knowledge that you shared with us today.
Thank you.
Sir, explain nicely about key principles of National Education Policy 2020. Sir also shared thought-provoking video for the need of change in educational policy and need of to adopt those change in our system. Sir also shared and highlighted the new educational policy by explaining their 4 pillars of national education policy. Sir explained nicely about the basic understanding of invention, discovery, innovation, startups, that will really helpful to the students to clarify their concepts. Sir guided about how we can change the thinking process to think in a different way to start our own startups. Sir also shared their experience in California with case studies. As you said at the start of session, sir, that you will ignite the mind. It's truly a great session, and I hope that all the students and faculties get ignited with minds and they will start thinking in a new direction of startup and innovation. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you all the participants. I request all the participants to start their video so that we can take a group photo.
Okay, now everyone is visible for group photo. Done, sir?
Yes, sir, done. Yes, sir, done.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Yeah.